Good morning, everyone. Uh, I'm just gonna give persons a chance to enter before we actually begin officially, and I'm also trying to get my system set up as well. So please give us a few minutes and then we'll begin officially. Thank you guys for your attendance. We sincerely appreciate, you taking your time out to be here today. Are you guys able to hear me clearly?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Perfect. All right, guys. So just give me a second. Let me just pull up my screen and then we'll get right ahead and begin. All right, guys. So welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here today. And today we'll be exploring next generation in biomedical engineering. And we'll be focusing on the innovations, the career pathways, and the future of healthcare. So it's really a pleasure to have you guys. And as you guys pour in, feel free to drop the country from which you're joining from. Feel free, to just say hello, state your name, and just, be welcome and just enjoy the time and this event that will be giving you guys. Today focus will be a broad focus and we'll basically focus on different innovations, career pathways in biomedical engineering. I am trying to skip my screen, but it's giving me some challenges. So let me see. All right. All right, perfect. So on today's agenda, we'll be looking at opportunities in biomedical engineering and healthcare by David Adeoti. We'll also be looking at advancing patient care through medical innovation, which will be done by Miss Sarah Gogo Majin. We'll also be exploring future in BME and healthcare, which is a guide for high school and college student, which will be done by Miss Temi Adeniran, and The Future of Healthcare by Mr. Oloshola Onowago. And at the end of all discussion, we'll have a panel discussion and audience Q&A, and then we'll have our closing remarks. So once again, guys, it's sincerely a pleasure to have you here. Some moments in life are very monumentous, and I believe that this moment is one of them. It's not about the amount of moments that might actually it is the moment that takes your breath away. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful atmosphere of young scientists. And we just want to appreciate you, our distinguished speakers, our valued partner, and all participants joining from around the world. Just learn, engage, and be inspired as we gather together. Just a bit of housekeeping before we dive right into the meat of the matter. Could you ensure that your microphones stay muted throughout the presentation? Ensure that, we're actually doing a record, so we please ask for your permission, to do so as well. Please be respectful and professional in all interactions through the webinar. Please use the chat to submit your questions during the session. And we would value you being on camera. So if you could, turn on your camera, we would sincerely appreciate that. And for any technical issues, please use the chat to request assistance. And Mr. Paul, Mr. David, and Miss Odunia, they will assist as best as possible alongside myself. So just a little background about me. So my name is Romario Pusey. I am a Jamaican native and I hold a master's in biomedical engineering at the University of New Haven and a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences. I am currently an associate scientist and project lead in upstream process development, where we do biologics manufacturing, bioreactor operations, and process optimization. So my research interest spans life-sustaining medical devices, artificial lungs, liposomal drug delivery, and regenerative medicine. And I have a passion to, translate scientific discovery and to add meaningful things to this realm of science. So to dive into a bit of what we have going on today, I'll be first introducing all speakers before we get into the meat of the matter. So our first speaker today will be Mr. David Adeoti, and his topic will focus on opportunities in biomedical engineering and healthcare. So Mr. David has a vast experience in biomedical engineer, scientific communication, and research visualization. He has collaborated with universities such as Yale University and industry engineers at Pyrogon Inc. and Oxoken Inc. His work bridges complex biomedical science with accessible visual communication. For his key discussion areas, I'll save that for Mr. David later. Next up, we will have Miss Sarah Gogo Majin. And believe it or not, guys, Miss Sarah Gogo Majin is the pioneer behind today's event. And this young lady is a top tier biomedical engineer, translational researcher, and an emerging innovator. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Biomedical Engineering alongside a Master's of Science in Biomedical Engineering. She's the founder of the Khen and Emet Biomedical Innovation Community Health Initiative, which is actually powering this initiative today. And her objective is to bridge biomedical innovation with, especially in underserved communities. For her key discussions, I'll leave that for her. I won't mess with that part. Next up, we have a bright star among us today. We have Miss Temi Adeniran, and she will be speaking on preparing for a future in BME and healthcare. So guess what? Miss Temi here is a second year undergraduate at Yale University. Yes, guys, Yale University, studying molecular biology and global health studies. She's a researcher at the Yale Cancer Center, and that's immuno-oncology. And she's the Ron Brown captain, UNICEF member, mentor, and passionate with youth advocate for STEM and healthcare careers. And again, no spoilers. I'll let her take care of her discussion areas. And then we have the great Mr. Olosola Onawago, and he will speak on the future of healthcare, focusing on the gut and dietary fibers. He's a distinguished laboratory operation professional, analytical scientist, and cybersecurity specialist, guys. What an integration of knowledge in one mind. And he also holds a BS in chemistry, that's a Bachelor's of Science, and a Master of Science in Computer Sciences. And he attended the great University of New Haven in Connecticut, USA. He's also a laboratory operation manager at Arome Sciences. So those are the great people that we have among us today. So just sit back and just enjoy this monumentous moment, guys. So now we're gonna have the panel discussion at the end. So guys, as you go throughout this presentation and you hear the different presenters, feel free, guys, to throw your questions in the chat because it is being monitored, closely. And then at the end, we'll basically, get your responses out from the different presenters. All right. So now I'm gonna go ahead and welcome Mr. David Adeoti to the floor. As stated earlier, Mr. David will be focusing on opportunities in biomedical engineering and healthcare. So, Mr. David, I'll stop sharing my screen and now you can go ahead and share yours.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Hi, everyone. My name is David Adeoti. I am a biomedical engineer specialized in the area of biomedical communications. Today, I'll be giving a presentation on career pathways and opportunities in the field of biomedical engineering. Permit me to share my screen right away. Oh, small screen. All right. So before I proceed, I'd like to briefly provide foundational knowledge on what biomedical engineering is. And I think this is very important because people often mistake biomedical engineering for bioengineering and biomedical sciences, even though biomedical engineering cuts across, these two fields. What is biomedical engineering? Biomedical engineering is a multidisciplinary field that applies principles from mechanical, electrical, chemical, materials, software, and computer engineering with biological science and medicine to provide solutions in human healthcare. It bridges the gap between innovation and patient care. Biomedical engineering basically has 5 sectors, which makes it possible for you to work across hospitals, medical device companies, research labs, pharma, government agencies, and startups. And these 5 sectors are clinical, research, industry, pharma, and
David,
startup.
sorry to interrupt, but we're not seeing your screen.
Oh, 1 second.
Thank you guys very much for your patience. As David, okay, very good. We're seeing David's screen now.
Okay.
Drop your flags, guys, as David gets ready to go again.
Can we still see my screen? Okay. So, what?
There is something that says enter full screen mode. I'm not sure if that you're seeing that on your end, David.
1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. Oh, we have guys joining from Jamaica. I'm seeing a Nigerian flag. Go Nigeria.
All right. So,
It's perfect,
sorry for the
David.
wait.
It's perfect now. That's
Yeah,
okay.
thank you very much. Yeah, so next I'll be talking about opportunities in 2 areas that have a symbiotic relationships. That is the areas of healthcare and medical devices. These are 2 industries that depend on one another, right? For the healthcare industry, without the medical device, most of the problems that are encountered in these industries will not be solved. And for the medical device industry, without the problems that are, without the medical devices, the healthcare problems will not be solved. So one of the career opportunity in healthcare is healthcare and clinical engineering, which involves managing and optimizing medical equipment in hospitals and healthcare networks. And the roles also include equipment evaluation, patient safety, auditing, and technology integration. The key employers in this industry are Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, John Hopkins, and VA Health Systems. For the medical device industry, the largest employers of biomedical engineers span across research and development, design, which covers both uh, medical device architectural designs and system designs, also quality and regulatory roles. Top roles in the medical device industries are design engineers, system engineers, quality and reliability engineers. And for the industry leaders, we have Medtronic, Abbott, Stryker, GE Healthcare, and Siemens Healthineer. Some of the examples of medical devices are oximeters, digital thermometers. We have ventilators, defibrillators, X-ray machines, MRI scanners, ultrasound machines, and blood glucose meters. I'm sure some of these devices sound familiar too. to us. For now, moving on to the research, farmer, and regulatory careers. There are three distinct parts that are currently shaping the future of medicine in their own way. The first one is academic and government research. Here, you have the opportunity to work in institutions such as MIT, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, Georgia Tech, NIH, FDA, DAPR, NSF-funded centers, and research hospitals and national labs. And in this area, the research focuses on majorly on biomaterials and tissue engineering, neuroengineering and gene therapy, also medical imaging and nanomedicine. For the second part, which is pharmaceutical and biotechnology, the leading employers currently are Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, Genentech, Amgen, Moderna, BioNTech, and other bioprocess and cell or gene therapy firms. For key roles, sorry, 1 second. Some of the key roles in this part are bioprocess and biomanufacturing engineer, drug delivery systems designer, clinical trials, and biologics specialist. And the last part here is the regulatory affairs and quality assurance, which basically safeguards public health and ensures that these products that are about to go into the market are legal, safe, and effective. The key standards under this part are FDA 510K or PMA pathways. PMA stands for pre-market approval. And first, what is 510K? It is a pre-market submission that is made to the FDA, which is a regulatory body in the US, to demonstrate that a new device is equivalent to a pre-existing market device or marketed device available in the United States. And pre-market approval is a device marketing application required by the FDA that proves the independence of a device instead of proving that it exists similarly to a previous existing device. The next one is ISO 13485 and ISO 14971. These are all quality standards. ISO basically stands for International Organization for Standardization. ISO 13485 controls the overall quality management system, while ISO 14971 specifically defines how to manage and control the risks associated with this product or these devices. Then the last one is EU MDR compliance, which basically has to do with companies in Europe outside of the United States, right? And this is a legal requirement for medical device manufacturers to adhere to European Union medical device regulations. Common roles in this area are regulatory affairs specialist, quality system engineer, compliance and risk engineer. Moving on to the entrepreneurial aspect of biomedical engineering, we have medtech startups, which is a growing ecosystem fueled by venture capital and bold innovation. Under this, we have AI diagnostics.
David, sorry to interrupt once more. So some people are still having issues. They're saying that the slide is the same slide that has been on the screen for a while. So I'm not sure if you're switching between slides on our end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually am, but let me take a look at that again.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Take your time. That's fine. Perfect. No, thank you very much. Should be good now. We're seeing a new slide about the medtech startups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, under the AI diagnostics, we have devices for early cancer detection, cardiac prediction, which are all powered by machine learning. Then for the digital health and wearables, we have wearable devices like continuous glucose monitors, ECG, smart watches, and Internet of Medical Things, which is also known as IoT, connected remote patient monitoring. For the robotics and novel implantables, we have minimally invasive surgical robots, neural implants, and next generation biosensors. According to report of statistics, the venture capital investments in medical technology grew at a steady compound annual growth rate of 29% each year from 2017 to 2021. And some of the top startup ecosystems in the United States are Boston, San Francisco, Bay Area, San Diego, and Minneapolis. Yeah, so moving on to the growth areas, in biomedical engineering, we have AI, robotics, and neurotechnology. I know AI doesn't sound new to us. We've been hearing about AI for the past 3, 4, 5 years. And in this area of AI diagnostics, we have Imagine AI-powered imaging for early cancer and cardiac detection. We have software as a medical device, which requires FDA clearance. And in this field, machine learning engineers are amongst the highest paid biomedical engineer specialists. Then the next one is surgical robotics. We are currently in an age where surgical robots such as Da Vinci system and macro robotics are used to carry out precision surgeries. Then for rehabilitation, there are currently rehabilitation exoskeletons and neural-controlled prosthetics for trauma or stroke recovering patients. Then we have automated lab and pharmacy systems, which basically are put in place to reduce human error. Then for the last one, which is neurotechnology, this exists in forms of neural implants that enable thought control devices. I like to think that we all are familiar with what speech-to-text feature, what the speech-to-text feature is on our phones or our mobile devices. But for this, these are thought-to-text or speech devices, and examples of this are BrainGate 2 and Paradromics. We also have brain-controlled interface wheelchairs, and this enables patients to be able to control wheelchairs just by thinking about it, right? There are devices that makes that possible. Then we also have deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's, epilepsy, and PTSD. This is one of the fastest growing subfields, right, in the industry of biomedical engineering, and there is a high PhD demand in this field. Next, I'll be talking about the frontiers in regenerative and preventive medicine. The aspect of biomedical engineering that involves application of engineering principles in biological science, from printing organs to personalized genomes, this is called tissue engineering, and it involves using lab-grown tissues and organs from cartilage scaffolds to heart valves, which are all built layer by layer using living cells. We also have the area of regenerative medicine, using stem cell platforms and CAR-T gene therapies, which redefine treatment for cancer, regenerative disease, and organ failure. The next one is precision medicine. We have next generation sequencing and liquid biopsy platforms that enables personalized treatment based on patient genetic profile. And the last one is biomaterials. It includes hydrogels, biopolymers, and nanoparticle carriers, which enables site-specific control, drug release to minimize side effects in patients. Now moving on to the job market trends. This is a very important part of this discussion. There was a projection of 5 to 7% job growth rate from 2024 to 2034 in the United States, and about 1,300 new job openings every year. Now, these are top salaries by specialization in biomedical engineering, ranging from mid-level roles to senior level roles, right? And some of the growth drivers of this in this job market are the aging global population. We all know that as time goes on, there are increase in the number of elderlies in the world. And this also drives the demand for implantable devices, chronic care technology for aging global population. We also have chronic disease burden, cardiovascular diabetes, and neurological conditions driving device demand. We also have genomics, precision therapy, and cell or gene therapies expanding the field. The top salary locations in the United States are San Francisco, Bay Area, we have Boston or Cambridge, we have Minneapolis and San Diego. This price range or this salary ranges are actually the equivalent of, other countries as well. So you can look up this salary ranges in other countries and you have an idea of what that is like. For the essential skills that you need to thrive in the field of biomedical engineering, there are both technical and soft skills that are required, right? Companies and universities are actively seeking these skills. For the technical skills, we have programming and software, basically used for simulation and AI application. That includes Python, MATLAB, C++, and higher proficiency. We have design and biomechanics. Software is used for making designs and biomechanics, such as SolidWorks, ANSYS, COMSOL. We have regulatory knowledge, AI and data science, biomaterial science, electronics and instrumentation that covers sensor integration, embedded systems, and circuit designs. And for soft skills, we have cross-disciplinary communication, which basically involves bridging the communication gap between clinicians, scientists, engineers, and regulators. We have problem solving and critical thinking. This involves translating clinical needs into engineering solutions. There's project management, adaptability, and continuous learning, because biomedical engineering is a multidisciplinary field and involves you having knowledge in a vast area or in vast areas. Then we have ethical judgment, right? The next thing I'll be talking about now is the educational pathways and the career summary. This is a summary of everything we'll be talking about from the beginning of this session. And for Bachelors of Science in Biomedical Engineering, it takes 4 years. For master's and doctoral programs, it takes between 1.5 to 6 years. And then there are specialized tracks included for this field. And this includes master's in business administration plus engineering, or a doctor of science and doctor of philosophy. Then for professional certifications or credentials to become specialized in certain areas, right? We have regulatory affairs certification. We have the certified quality engineer, project management professional, certified cost engineer, and certified biomedical equipment technician. To end this presentation, I'll leave you with this. And this is to say that whatever level that you might be at currently, always train your mind to see opportunities. Getting a job is very important, right? But also knowing that there is room for more. The world needs you just as much as you need it. All the experiences you gain from the years of being a student, years of research, working, and all of that, all of those experiences belong to you. No one can take them from you. And the change that the world needs would definitely come from that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David. Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate that presentation. So yeah, just put your virtual hands together for Mr. David. He did an excellent job. So as you can see, you basically get a brief understanding of the skill set that's required for this beautiful, awesome field of biomedical engineering. And once applied, there is no telling how far you can reach in life, because it's more than just the 9 to 5. It's also what you can create, because as Mr. David said, that experience is yours. So please bear that in mind, guys. So now we're gonna move forward with Miss Sarah Majin. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. Are you guys hearing me? Yeah, so as previously stated, Miss Sarah Margin is a top tier biomedical engineer, and she is the pioneer of this event today. This young lady is doing a next level innovation in biomedical engineer, and she's here to share her story and share the work that she has been doing. So please sit back and enjoy this presentation and just be inspired and be engaged. Remember to drop your questions in the chat, guys. The floor is yours, Sarah.
Hi, amazing. Thank you all for joining today. And um, I know Romario said I'm the pioneer, but all of us, there's a team, you can't see your backbone, but it's very important. So yeah, thank you everyone. Today, just be continuing from what David started with, and that was just an introduction. So I'll be going into, I hope everyone can hear me clearly. Just give an emoji if you can. So I'll be speaking about advancing patient care through medical innovations, and we're exploring breakthroughs in drug delivery, life-sustaining medical devices, and advanced wound care. If you're not a science major, just track with me. Yeah. All right. So evolution of drug delivery. We all know at some point we've taken oral medications, we've taken, paracetamol and all that. That was where that's where drug delivery started, and conventional dosing, and we moved on to controlled release, and also there's transdermal routes, that is your sunscreen, your topical, your cream for eczema, that was formulated, and then we have nanocarriers now, and also biologics and genes, which is lipid nanoparticles, and smart delivery. So it's still evolving. So this is just a track of how drug delivery has been evolving so far. So moving on to I'll be speaking on modern delivery technologies. There are a number of them, but I'll be speaking on transdermal and microneedle patches. So these patches, what do? They deliver a steady dose of medication through the skin. So we just want to get medication through your stream, your bloodstream, so that you can treat whatever ailments that you have. Some of the applications you can see are nicotine patches. If you just track with me to the image on the bottom left corner, you can see the dermal and topical I spoke to you about, your sunscreen, your eczema cream. But now we're taking it further, transdermal. We're taking it past the dermis, which is a layer of our skin, into the bloodstream. And that is what this technology is doing. And it can be found in nicotine patches, as I mentioned earlier. Also pain relief patches for people, with chronic pain. And it can also be used for vaccines now. Very interesting, because you know how as a child your child is taking vaccines and it's really painful, but this technology can reduce the pain, can also do a mass immunization for children. And just keep that in mind, how these modern technologies are improving. Another one that I will mention is the nanoparticle, or the targeted delivery. And so just drop in the chat. I know you don't have to be a science major, but who knows what a cell is? What is a cell? Let us see. I mean, everybody should know what a cell is at this point. So I want to see answers. What is a cell? Unit of life. Yep, that's true. What else? Guys, what is the cell? Basic or smallest unit of life. So true. We all started from a cell. Amazing, right? We all started from a cell. Smallest part of a living organism that can function on its own. I like that, Herbert. Smallest unit of life, building blocks of life. Amazing. Yeah. So we all know what a cell is. So track with me to the image on the left, and you can see a cell membrane. And this cell membrane is something that protects our cells. It's like a guard. It determines what goes in and what goes out, because we have to keep, we have to make sure that our body is organized. It's an organism, we're organized. And so this technology of the cell membrane was taken into drug delivery. And you can see the liposomes, and you can see with the hydrophilic drug core, hydrophilic just means water loving, and hydrophobic just means water, hating. Yeah, simply put. And so they took this technology and they're using it as a drug carrier to deliver drugs to certain sites to help people with certain ailments, different things. So this is really amazing, and it has really changed the aspect of modern drug delivery. I'll just go into, with that understanding in mind, there's a research that was carried out by some amazing people that you can see below, titled Drug-Loaded Nanoparticles, Reduce Platelet Aggregation and Blood Coagulation. And so we have a problem, blood contacting materials. They activate platelets. Platelets are not a bad thing. When you have an injury and you apply pressure on that, what stops that injury from bleeding, an open injury, what stops it from bleeding are your platelets, because they're like, oh my gosh, we need to reinforce. We need to go and stop this bleeding. So platelets are, our body's defense mechanism. But sometimes in medical devices, they can, counterattack because they can cause blood clotting. You want a free flow, but these platelets, when they start to when they come into those blood contacting medical devices, they can cause coagulation. So this study, what did we do? We wanted to know first nanoparticles. We took nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is something that is a natural molecule that our body produces. And simply put, our body just tells platelets, keep calm, don't become activated. It's not yet time. And we took this nitric oxide, and even after we put them in nanoparticles in that vesicle that I told you, and after 22 weeks, we saw that there was like sustained anal release. One thing about drugs is that some certain drugs have like, you don't want them released immediately because they might not do the function that is intended, or sometimes they might also cause, like, if they're released immediately, they might cause like maybe like a ripple effect, basically. So we took that and noticed that 22 weeks of storage, they were still releasing, which is good. They had high compatibility because you don't want cells to attack, whatever you're trying to help them with. Yeah. And then there was a platelet aggregation of 84%, which was good. So just moving on to medical devices in practice, this is another aspect of innovation, medical innovation. I'm sure a number of you can identify any medical device that you can see on your screen. Pacemakers. People are working around with pacemakers now. You can't even tell. That's innovation right there. And there's dialysis machine, people with renal dysfunction, and this just helps them, take away the waste that their kidneys can't. And there's also ECMO, peripheral membrane oxygenation, which is called ECMO. So I'll be diving more into ECMO in the next slide. And ECMO. So this is how the ECMO works. Some people are not able to filter their blood, and so this ECMO device helps them to do that. And you can see the flow. It's supposed to be animated, but it's okay. You can see the flow. It takes out the deoxygenated blood, which is the blue line, and the ECMO machine, works is thin, and it brings back the oxygenated blood back into the body. But obviously, for everything, there's a problem, and the problem is biofouling. As I mentioned, blood clotting. It causes ECMO failure. And just think about it. Think about a number of people who are under this situation and what it can cause if the clean blood is not going into your system, or there's a clot. There's a whole lot of things. And what happens is that there's a contact. This is what really happens in the biomaterial interface. And then, okay, pardon me. Just give me a second. Just give me a second.
No problem, Sarah. Take your time. If you want me to stop share, I could stop share and let you share from your end. Let me know if that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. All right. So I think I need to share.
Okay, that's fine. Let me stop share. So guys, remember to drop your questions in the Q&A, because there's a Q&A option on screen where you can drop your questions, and feel free to drop them in the chat as well. And as Sarah finds the photo or the slide that she wants to show us, in the meantime, I just wanted to let you guys know that it is important that we consider this pathway in biomedical engineering. So it's an open field, guys. There are many different aspects of biomedical engineering. And for my function in biomedical engineering, my role is focused on making pharmaceuticals. So in terms of pharmaceuticals that we make cancer therapeutics. So let's say someone has a serious cancer and they have like a large tumor growth. So what I do in my field is we make those drugs, and those drugs target those specific tumors. So biomedical engineering, it spans a wide area. So even in biomedical engineering, we see where medical devices become important. And we see how, as time progresses, we see how many medical innovations are causing people to move around freely. But then we used to see like extremely large oxygen tanks, and now we're seeing more condensed systems. For example, if you look at the, oh, you ready now, Sarah?
Just give me a few
Okay.
seconds
Oh,
sharing.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
You're ready.
So,
All right, let's
yeah.
go for it.
Okay.
You
All
tell
right.
her,
Yeah.
I should stop pumping.
Pardon? Okay.
It's going.
Yeah. Pardon me for that. So we have so I was talking about what happens in the blood material interface. There's contact, obviously, and then absorption and activation, and then the fouling happens, which is the problem. So what is the approach? These ECMOs, they have like fibers in them, and this is what causes, this is where the clogging happens. So cool researchers came and said, oh, what can we do? Let us coat these fibers with something called polypropylene and see if they'll prevent this biofouling. And in our next slide, we can see the, PP fiber that was used. And that's the article that was published, Artificial Lung Device Priming for In Situ Fiber Bundle Surface Grafting. Just kudos to the people down there. And the outcome was good, because we could see that these PP fibers that were coated were way better than the ones that weren't. Looking at the graph on the outcome to my right. And so, I mean, modern technology, it's all growing. We're all evolving. We're all learning. So next, I'm going to be speaking about, wound healing. I was talking about when you have a wound and, your platelets rush to stop the bleeding. So we have two types of wound healing. We have the acute, which you can see. It's, you have an injury, and these are the stages of wound healing. And those are the number of days or weeks it could take for your wound to heal, from injury to inflammation, proliferation, and remodeling, so your skin getting back together. But then we have chronic wound healing, which is vicious because people that have some certain illnesses don't just heal as fast as some others. And this is where chronic wound healing comes in, because there's a cycle. You have your injury, but it doesn't pass the stage of inflammation. It just keeps on going. It keeps on going. This is an example of a vector illustration of a medical diabetic foot. And you can see that the injury there, that's like a chronic wound injury. You don't want to see the real thing, because I mean, some people don't, yeah, they can't stomach that. So, but this is why we are talking about this medical innovations, really, because people are going through this. So what's the solution to this chronic wound healing? Yeah, our medical dressings, and these biomedical dressings can be from natural polymers, synthetic polymers, composite, and smart polymers. And some natural polymers, we know some of them: alginate from algae. We all know algae, collagen, from our skin, gelatin, hyaluronic acid. Some of us use that for skincare. And these are used, to heal our bodies. The synthetic ones can be polyurethane and others. So composite and smart are the responsive hydrogels. What is hydrogel? So it's just, a 3D structure. And these hydrogels are filled with so much, water. You can see the network formation of the hydrogels in the image below, and you can see that these come together to heal the wound. So the process is just, you apply the hydrogel and the bleeding stops, and it does its thing. Whatever drug that has been put into that hydrogel, same thing, similar to liposomes, it's infused with a drug, and then it causes healing to happen. So this is why hydrogels matter, and because they hold large amounts of water, they provide 3D scaffolds. So imagine if you have, this is good technology, because now there's a technology that for maybe wound healing, they can just put a hydrogel in, and it can just, your body can just heal the wound immediately, because these are natural polymers. All right, moving on. Our key takeaways. I hope you all have gotten something from all that has been discussed so far. But first thing is that patient impact is the end point. We all want to live better lives. We all want to live better lives. And this is what this is all about. Mostly this seminar is also to impact communities, because there are people who do not even have, access to these things. Why are we making these things more simpler and more affordable? Because you want people to be able to access them, to live, better lives, as I mentioned. And so, community impact, the true measure of innovation, safer life, faster recovery, better dignity, and wider access. And, the sky is not even the limit for this. So thank you all for listening. Thank you. These are the references. Over to you, Mario.
Let's put our virtual hands together for Miss Sarah. Thank you very much, Miss Sarah. And remember to drop your questions in the chat, guys. So we learned a lot. We learned about wound healing. we learned about ECMO, and we learned about how these applications are important for people, because this is the reason why we do all these things. So thank you so very much, Sarah. And guys, Sarah is not just sharing information with you guys. This was research that was done by Sarah in the lab. This was research that was done, and these results showed excellent improvement. And our objective is to translate these into actual innovation. So there is a bright path ahead, a bright future ahead for Miss Sarah. So next up, we're gonna turn over the floor to Miss Temi, where she will be sharing with us her journey, or the importance of biomedical engineer from high school to even college, and then from there, extreme greatness. So for those who are wondering what's the pathway, Miss Temi will also reinforce and share that with us. So the floor is yours, Miss Temi. So please go ahead and share.
Okay, can you guys all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Temi Adeniran, and I'm an undergraduate student at Yale University, and I am majoring in molecular biology and global health studies. And the purpose of this presentation is to give a general overview and practical guide of preparing for a future in biomedical engineering and healthcare. So just as a little agenda, I'm going to be talking quickly, like a quick overview of biomedical engineering, which we already talked about, but I just have some other points. And then I'm going to be spending a lot of time on skills and courses to build up in high school, as well as what practical experience can look like as a high school student. And then I'll end with some general advice. So, a quick overview about biomedical engineering and healthcare. As we all know, they're both very diverse fields. There's breadth to the field, which means that there's just so many different things that you can do in the field, which include the life sciences, engineering, innovation, and systems integration. And then there's depth. So, there's a lot of different career pathways that you can choose to do from each of them, whether it's like tissue and cell engineering or general practice as a physician. And one of the things I want to highlight the most is that these two fields combine hands-on building with application to real patient outcomes. So the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is foundational skills and high school courses. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to take us through my relevant high school coursework that relates to wanting to pursue a career in biomedical engineering and healthcare. And hopefully, before I do that, I want to quickly go over some skills, foundational skills that are important for wanting to pursue this field. So the first one is having a high level understanding of the human body and the processes that drive it. And a lot of the courses that relate to this are found in the core sciences. So this can be biology, chemistry, and physics. A lot of schools offer this. It doesn't necessarily matter like what grade you take it in because you might also still take it in college again. So the core sciences align very heavily with understanding the human body. Another core skill set is with programming languages and mathematical proficiency to aid in lab simulations and projects. And the type of courses, at least for mathematics, include algebra, pre-calculus, calculus, and statistics or biostatistics. A lot of students don't take biostatistics until they go to university because it's just a little bit more complex, and that's really where the application to the life sciences and patients comes into play. And then for programming, a lot of students focus on Python, C++, MATLAB especially, and R. And the last skill set that's important is clear communication and articulation in speech and writing. I think a lot of people probably wouldn't think that this is important and that if you wanting to go into a STEM field like biomedical engineering or healthcare, you only need to focus on the STEM subjects, but that is not true. It's very important to have a foundation in speech and writing. So this can just look like English courses, whether it's essay writing in rhetorical, expository, or argument writing, and then also focusing on language and grammar. And the last thing I want to highlight is additional electives. So electives are things that classes that your school might offer that is not necessarily for like your graduation requirement. So they might be extra courses. So things like this can include anatomy and physiology, CAD design, and biotechnology. Not all schools offer courses like this. So if not, that's totally okay. There's still opportunity to explore classes and courses like this when you reach the university level. So this is where I'm going to do my coursework breakdown. I have everything separated by like the type of class, which includes the core sciences, mathematics, programming, English, dual enrollment, and electives. And I went to high school in the US, so for my international students, I've formatted this in a way that you can see like where you might be right now, so you can kind of see what courses would align with that. And also for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to like GCSEs to AP courses, which are advanced placement courses in the US, and then A levels to dual enrollment courses. And dual enrollment courses are basically just classes that high school students can take at a local university before they graduate. Um, I think A levels are a little bit more difficult than dual enrollment. So when it comes to rigor and applying to universities, that's like not really a problem. But just the way that the US like school system is set up, a lot of students tend to try and take dual enrollment classes or at least one dual enrollment class before they graduate. So yeah, I'm just gonna start with my first year of high school or secondary school. And the courses that I took included biology, pre-calculus, intro to engineering design, English, and an elective that was called tech topics. My high school was very STEM focused, so we had a lot of opportunities to take engineering classes. And I know not all high schools are specialized in that way, so you're not going to see a class called Intro to Engineering Design at like most high schools, but that's just what my school happened to offer. But there are so many, you don't have to take an engineering course before you're successful when you get to college and you're wanting to major in an engineering field. I think the most important things are like the sciences and the math. And if there's opportunity to program, whether it's in the classroom or outside of the classroom, that's also very important too. Um, and then getting to my second year of high school, I took biology again, but this was an advanced placement class. I started to take chemistry, an advanced placement calculus class. Again, I took a principles of engineering class. This was a requirement for my graduation at my school. I also again took English, and then sophomore year was when I started to take dual enrollment classes at a local university. I knew that I wanted to slowly ease myself into what the college environment looked like. So I tried to take a class that wasn't as difficult. So I took Intro to Communication, which ended up being a very great class. It also helps with the language and like English that I discussed earlier. And then when it came to my junior year classes, um, one thing I want to emphasize is that the trajectory of the difficulty of my classes increased as I like proceeded through my high school years, which is pretty common for students. Like you don't need to take this number of classes, and these types of classes might also not be offered at the school you go to, so that isn't really a problem. But it's just showing like some of the core classes. Like I have the core sciences like biology, chemistry, physics. I started to take an advancement computer science class, an advanced English class, and then I also took a anatomy and physiology elective, which is a great opportunity to get hands-on experience with what like organs and things like that look like. So it's very direct and translational in that aspect. Anatomy and physiology is also typically offered at the university level. So if that's not something that your school offers, then you don't really need to worry about that. I also took an intro to the US healthcare system class because as much as biomedical engineering and healthcare is important, there's a lot of like systematic and political things that drive our healthcare system, especially in the US. So that was a very important foundational understanding that I was able to get. And then in my senior year, similarly, I took a science, a math course, more engineering, and then also an English class and one more dual enrollment class before I graduated. Um, I just want to talk about additional details. So, obviously, I'm a student at Yale right now, so these are some relevant courses that I've taken so far. But one of the main things that I want to highlight is that depending on the university you go to, you may need to repeat certain courses you took in high school. And a lot of universities have placement exams, so this is different from like taking the SAT or taking um, the JAM or YEC. I think actually JAM and YEC might be similar to placement courses, but basically what this is that you take a placement course and you see the level of whatever course it is that you're in, and then you'll be placed into the adequate level for you to start in university. And what I want to highlight for me specifically is that I like retook certain classes when I got to university. So, for example, I took advanced placement calculus in my third year of high school, but I took the same form of calculus when I started college, except that it was a little bit more expanded. And I think, the same thing happened for chemistry. And I think why this is important is because colleges and universities may teach um, courses in different ways compared to how you were taught in high school or secondary school. So it's nice to have the foundation coming from the university level before you decide to complete your major and take harder courses. Um, and in high school, I also recommend taking other courses that you're interested in. Especially in the US, we have the opportunity to take language courses, so I would definitely recommend that. Even if you don't end up completely understanding the language, I still think it's an important skill set to have. And then I also think it's important to take additional electives and courses that you are interested in. My school offered economics, for example. So that was a course that I took in my last year of high school, and I ended up really enjoying it. So you don't necessarily need to take all STEM classes. Actually, it's not really recommended to take all some courses because you're not having any depth in what you're learning. So that's really important. And then at the university level, I already talked about placement exams, but I want to emphasize choosing your major. As a college student, I think there's a preconception that you have to major in biomedical engineering to be a biomedical engineer, or you have to major in biology to say you want to be a pre-medical student or like be a doctor. But that's definitely not the case. If there are things that you're interested in and it's offered as a major at your university, then you don't necessarily need to do that. I think it's very different for international schools, so I will preface that, but especially in the US, you you don't need to, as long as you take the pre-medical requirements, you or the biomedical engineering requirements for graduate school, you pretty much are okay to do any other major of your choice. Um, the next thing I'm going to talk about is building experience as a high school student. Um, so I'm going to bring back my coursework breakdown, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show a couple of the experiences that I did during high school and kind of how they're applicable. So there are more longitudinal experiences that last from like the beginning of high school to the end of high school. So I was part of this program called the Yale Pathways to Science, and I was exposed to a lot of different programming in the sciences and in engineering. And that was a great way for me to supplement my learning outside of the classroom. And then there are also opportunities that necessarily don't start at the beginning of high school and also don't last till the end of high school. So I did this program, it's called History Day. Basically, you just do a project about something in history. There's a theme every year, and you present a project. So I did that in my sophomore and junior year of high school. Um, the next thing I did was hospital volunteering, and this was just so that I could get a good sense of what working in the hospital looked like as a pre-medical student and wanting to understand what that looked like. If you are interested specifically in going into the field of healthcare, I think this is a very good opportunity to have as a high school student. Personally, I don't recommend, I think more and more students are wanting to shadow professionals in the field of healthcare as high school students. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend that for students because there are just so many other things that you could do. And you can also shadow when you get to the university level. So as a high school student or a secondary school student, this is absolutely not necessary in any way, form, or manner. Um, and then another thing is passion projects. So a lot of students complete passion projects, and this is basically just doing something that might either supplement your application or something that you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about educational advocacy. So I co-led a career exploration fair with one of my friends in high school, and basically we exposed students to different career opportunities that they could pursue in this field of like STEM or whether it was like technology, business, things like that. So that was a great way to put my passions towards something that was practical. I was also the president of my school science club, so joining clubs at your school is also a great way to get experience in. Math club captain. And then the last thing I want to talk about is like summer experiences. So I was a research intern at the Yale School of Medicine. So this was a great way to get experience in over the summer. You don't necessarily need to. I would say that a lot of high school students end up doing some form of research between their third and last year of high school or secondary school. So that's something that you can consider. But when it comes to like hardcore research, that typically happens at the university level. The ones that you do in high school or secondary school is just for basic exposure before you get to the university level. So, like right now, I am doing research in the Yale Cancer Center in the field of immuno-oncology. And basically, we're trying to understand the tumor microenvironment, and it's pretty translational. So, I work in the wet lab, but and I'm completing experiments, but I also have the opportunity to work directly with patient samples and like see the outcome of my work directly. And this is really important for people that are interested in biopharmaceuticals because that's a great way to expand the translational research that you're already doing. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is just general advice. Um, the first thing is being specific and intentional. I think it's important to think about what you want to get out of your college education and what that may look like for you. And that can appear in very different forms, whether it's the type of school you attend, the kind of things that you involve yourself in. It's very important to be specific and intentional, especially in high school. Don't waste your time doing things that you don't want to do just because you think it's going to look good on an application. The next thing is being a competitive applicant. So obviously that appears in the form of your coursework, SATs, standardized exams, whatever form they may be. Um, and I think also another thing when it comes to taking courses at your school, there may be like trade-off, and what I mean by that is you may be taking advanced courses, but it's not necessarily in a subject that you're interested in per se. So like for example, I took an advanced placement history course, but I think that if I like redid high school, I probably wouldn't do that again because I would have had more time to do other things that were not related to history. Like there are lower level history classes that I probably would have been fine in. So it's important to think about that trade-off when it comes to choosing your classes. Another thing is gaining hands-on experience inside and outside of the classroom. I think a lot of people undermine the fact that they can gain hands-on experience in the classroom. So it's important to stay engaged in your classes, ask questions, even if you think you already understand something, ask more questions. Questions are never a bad thing. And then when it comes to experience outside of the classroom, there are just so many things that you can do in programs that are offered. So it's important to research those and look into those. The last couple of things are practicing time management and remember to taking breaks. Remembering to take breaks. You can't do it all in one sitting, so it's just important to have time to rest and reflect. And then I also included scholarships here. I know somebody asked a question about how expensive it is to pursue biomedical engineering. That depends on your like the school you attend and how much funding you have. But if anyone has a question about like scholarship search, I can be of help. Um, and I just have this slide to end out my presentation. I think from this presentation, it can look like I've done a lot. And and a lot of the public frames biomedical engineering and healthcare careers as very competitive, and that's not to say that they aren't, but it really just depends on how you set up yourself. Um, and for one, you don't need to take all the classes that I took. In fact, most successful biomedical engineers and healthcare professionals wouldn't have even touched such courses in high school. So, it just matters how you show up for yourself and how you're taking advantage of the courses that your school um, offers. And then just to end, I think to be successful in these fields, it requires grit, patience, problem solving, cooperation, and the pursuit of things you love to do outside of your future profession. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening.
Let's put our hands together for Miss Temi, guys. I learned something very important just now. It is important how you show for yourself, and that's so true. So, guys, you've seen her background, you've seen her journey, you've seen her story. She's actually showing you that this can also be your journey, and she's a willing mentor if you guys are interested in learning more in the realm of biomedical engineering. Very busy lady at Yale University, but she will indeed make the time to help as much as possible. So thank you very much, Miss Temi. I just want to do a quick check before I turn over the floor to Mr. Olushola. Is Mr. Olushola actually on the participant list right now? Is he in the chat? Mr. Olushola, are you here today, sir?
Yes, I'm
Sarah.
right here. Can you hear me?
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so very much. So, guys, we're gonna turn over the floor to a man who is well engineered in the realm of sciences, holds a master of science, I believe, in computer sciences, has strong chemistry background, and he's also involved in management. So, the floor is all yours, Mr. Olushola, and just inspire us, sir.
Hi, everyone. Can you all see me? I'm not sure. I didn't try my computer before now. Can you see me? I believe so, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I will need your help to show my slide, please, if that's possible.
Paul, do you have, let me see if I have access.
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Hi, everyone. My name is Olushola. Today I'm going to be walking you through some great innovation in biomedical. Um, I hold about 2 decades of experience in chemistry. And in these few years, I've been able to go into different areas in good life living. That's what we call it, good life living. So currently, I work with Aroma Science. Aroma Science is a biomedical company that deals majorly on microbiome metabolomics and checking, relating good health and things you can see with your bare eyes. A lot of us will know whenever I mention fecal, it's gross, right? It sounds nasty. But I will make you understand that if you go to the doctors today and you have a complaint that they can't really tell, what do you tell you to do? Go for blood work. That's the first thing. A lot of medical practitioners or professionals, they neglect other things. Not that they neglect, but they don't pay attention to fecal. Fecal, as you all know, it can be called stool also. Fecal comprises of 75% water, 25% solid. In this solid, it could be gut microbiomes, undigested fibers. You call them excretes, things that the body doesn't want, waste. So today I'm going to be walking you through gut health, and relating gut health with what you eat and how I can help you improve your daily life living. And this is a research that is FDA approved. Um, so while I was working in Arome, I participated in a different kind of research. There's a research called that we generated a device called NanoDrop. This NanoDrop is a device that takes blood just right here on your shoulder, about 10 microliter of your blood. And this 10 microliter of your blood can be used for any testing from protein crashing, LCMS testing, GCMS testing, short chain fatty acids, or anything. A lot of time when you go to the doctor, what do they ask you to do? Go to the lab. The lab takes about 10 or 5, you agree with me, about 10 tubes. If you're like me, I don't like going for blood work. And that's why we designed that device. It's called NanoDrop. I don't have it on this slide. I'll talk to you about it before I move. Just stick to the first slide, please. Thank you so much. So the NanoDrop is a device that helps you to take good amount of your blood. The beautiful thing about it is it has a desiccator in it. It keeps your blood dry. It keeps every metabolite in the blood active. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. It doesn't need to be spun down to get serum. A lot of time they want to spin it down to get the upper layer, and you have the blood, the whole blood, the serum, and the plasma. Yeah, kind of. That's how they do it. So you don't need that. So you can easily tell your doctor and say, hey, you know what? Shola told me that I don't need to take 5 different tubes. Can you order me NanoDrop? Because I know NanoDrop will do exactly what you need to do for me today. And the beautiful thing about it is for you to transport your blood from Connecticut to as far as Florida, it can go in the mail. It can go in the mail. All metabolites are going to be active. Salt, short-chain fatty acids, all metabolite active. Just the same thing that your doctor will see is what the NanoDrop will see. All right, so the next slide now. Today I'm going to be talking to you about microbiomes, gut microbiomes. A lot of us don't really pay attention to what we eat. Maybe I don't also, right? But as more time you research and you see different lifestyles and how people have been able to live long. Now, see, live long because of what they eat and how they've been able to help their own gut, their own body system by what they eat. Then it turns everything around, right? You agree with me? So, what are microbiomes? You can relate microbiomes as bacteria. They could be they could be seen as fungi also, mostly in your large intestine, right? Um, One thing you need to now understand is this. Microbiomes is everywhere. It's in your lungs, it's in your mouth, it's in your hair, it's in your nose, everywhere in your body. But just as you would also know, is that we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. So the bad bacteria are what comes out in the fecal when you eat and excrete. The bad bacteria compose of other particulates, solid particulates in the 25% of your fecal that comes out. Remember, 75% of the fecal is water. Now, we've been able to take different samples from different people, different races, different age, demographies, and we've been able to compare um, how people, how long have they lived just by what they eat, taking questionnaires, taking their fecal sample over the span of 5 years. The same person, giving them a kind of food they need to eat on daily basis. And we kind of like take the sample from them over the span of 5 years. Now, I will tell you today, a lot of us, when we were younger, parents would say, oh, you need to eat egg, 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 egg. In America, you see the white egg, you see the white shelled egg and the brown shelled egg. They call one organic, they call one, some people say it's synthetic, maybe it's being injected in a way. But one thing you need to understand is we were able to carry out a research about 100 participants and blood were drawn through nano drop. And for those that were eating egg without the yolk, just the egg white, those that were eating the whole egg, that's the white egg and the yellow part of the egg, the yolk. We took their blood and we carry out like a testing on it. Most of the blood, before your blood is tested, is something that we call protein crashing. Protein crashing is just taking the organic solvents, methanol, and you just drop the methanol in the blood. Like an aliquot of your blood in a test tube, drop maybe 100 microliter, 1,000 microliter of methanol, and it precipitates. Then you can see the rise of your protein, the rise of the protein in the blood. Now, during this study, for those that were eating just white egg, it was easy for me actually, because I was mostly doing the testing. It was easy for me to clean up the the blood, and it was easy for it to be injected on a liquid chromatography mass spectrometer because I need to check the metabolites. And it was also easy for me to clean up the blood and run it on a GC for short chain fatty acid. I'll come to short chain fatty acid, don't worry, I'll tell you what that means. Now, what am I telling you in a nutshell? A lot of things that we eat translates to how our body reacts. Everything everything you inject translates to how you're living. You know, there are other stories for other times. I can also walk you through how somebody was able to cure um, a spouse stage 4 cancer with another, research, and it worked, FDA approved, you know. So gut microbiomes, just as you will know, it's that it gives you, it's more like a picture of how your body reacts to diseases. It helps you build preventive measures against disease that can arise from your body. A lot of times you go to the doctor and the doctor will say, oh, we saw this. It wasn't there last year when you came for your physio, or when you go to your primary care doctor, it wasn't there. Then you ask yourself a question, what has changed? The first thing you ask yourself is my diet. What has changed in my diet? What else am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? Let's go to slide 3 real quick. I think I have. How many minutes do I have? I'm sorry, I like to talk a lot, so just let me know how long. How many minutes do I have so I can rush through the slide?
We're gonna be a little over time, but I'm gonna give you about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Thank you so
We're
much.
gonna
Okay,
have a short panel discussion. So
sounds good. Sounds
thank you
good.
guys for your patience so far as well. Back to you, sir.
You're welcome. All right. So gut microbiomes, just as I said, it refers to microorganism mostly in your large intestine. And this is more like what creates an avenue to how your body reacts to diseases, how your body reacts to different things that come into your body. Let's go to slide 3. You are not in slide 3 yet. Slide 3, please. Yes, thank you. Now, no, let's go back. Slide 3. Okay, that's slide 3. Okay. Now, just as I said, yeah, microbiomes are everywhere in oral, your mouth, your skin, your lungs, which is your respiratory, your gut, that's what I'm focusing on now. I'm trying to walk you through how you can help your body build up better, good microbiomes and help you fight against every other things that might arise. Now, let's go to I was just about to say reactor 4. Let's go to slide 4. Slide 4 now. Now, I'm going to be working on fibers. A lot of us all we eat is, if you look at it very well, you eat more protein, carbohydrates, but we are neglecting the fact that we need to eat more carbs that translate to fibers. Okay. There is a study also that a lot of Africans love rice. I know a lot of us love rice, right? The white rice. But there's a study that says that, a study I also carried out, that white rice is best eaten a day after. Why? Because when you cook your white rice, you keep it in the refrigerator. The carbohydrates, fermentation occurs over the time 24 hours. Now, when you ingest the rice right there, it's not so good carbs you're injecting. Now, the bacteria in your gut are not excited about the carbohydrates you're eating right there. But when it ferments a little bit, short chain fatty acid now, it secretes more short chain fatty acid, SCFAs. Now that's the 24 hours old rice, right? In the fridge. Now the bacteria in your gut are excited. You don't really want so much. The doctors tell, oh, cut down on carbs, cut down on carbs. Now, but you can also help yourself by knowing when to eat and when not to eat. Rice, for example, eat 24 hours later. If you're going to eat rice today, make your rice a day before, keep it in the fridge, because the bacteria in your gut helps you to reduce the concentration of carbs in your body. Those bacteria in your gut, in a layman language, that's the food. That's what they want. Now I know why jollof rice tastes better. Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, so the bacteria in your gut, they are excited whenever they see those good fibers. I mean, those good carbs. They are running around. It's just like when you feed catfish their food. You see how they're like running around, find the food. That's how the bacteria in your gut also helps. Now they break down that bad carbs. And what are you doing to them? You're giving them more room. The bacteria in your gut, you are feeding them good carbs so that whenever it comes to time when they need to fight against building up your antibodies now, whenever they need to fight against other external forces or other external problem that comes, they are equipped. They are strong enough to fight. But when you eat the same day rice, they are not healthy. They don't have food to eat. They're just feeding on maybe lesser concentration of the carbs. But when you eat good carbs, that's like just like rice, a day old rice, you know, you give those microbiomes, the bacteria in your gut, to fight against other bacteria, other viruses, infections that might want to come into you. Let's go to slide 5. Slide 5. I'm going to show you slide 5. Now, see, now this is beautiful, right? Look at that food right there. See how broccoli, a lot of times we need to eat cereal. Cereals are good, not processed cereals. So you can get dates, you can get cashew nuts, anything rich in fibers are good. Then remember, supplements are also good. I'm not going to neglect that. You could say it's synthesized, it's been manufactured, but supplements are good. Supplements should do the work also. But you need to, if you can mostly encourage yourself in eating carrots, banana, dates, nuts, different kind of nuts, helps you. Oh my God, broccoli is good. Now, I'll give you an example. I visited my doctor last year. My doctor said my blood sugar is elevated. Then do you know what? And anytime I feed on broccoli, broccoli helps my blood sugar so great. So that's another thing for you guys. Anyone that has issues with blood sugar, feed so much on green broccoli, organic broccoli. All right, that helps you. Now, I want you to remember that fibers, make sure every food you eat contain more of fibers. You can research on different kind of fibers. Make sure in a day, make sure you consume more than 70% of your meal. Anything that translates to better fiber, you should focus on that more. Not so much of protein. Oh, now let me explain to you. 2% of the body needs 2% of protein to function right. 2%, that's all you need. That's all what your body needs. 2% of protein to function right. Guess what gives you 2%? Green plant. Green plant gives you 2% of that same protein you need. So you don't need to go to that big red meat, chicken, just because your doctor say, yo, you need to increase your protein intake. Your body functions right with just 2% of protein. All right. So please let us remember that. Let's go to slide 6 real quick, and I'm gonna wrap it up from there. I think it's 10 minutes over. Okay. All right. Slide 6. All right. Short fatty acid, just like I told you. Um, Short fatty acids are different kind of acids in your body that your body needs. Just like propanoic acid, acetic acid. These are acids your body needs in a higher concentration. I mean, relatively good concentration to function right. And just as I told you, those good bacteria helps you to produce more short-chain fatty acid. You understand, which helps translate to good gut health. So, eating well translates to better living. Okay. My focus today is fibers. Eating good fiber translates to better living. Now look at that for the first picture. It says fibers. The second one says translate to good bacteria, translate to short-chain fatty acid, and your gut health, 100%. So remember that those are the kind of fibers if you look at those pictures, you see different kind of nuts. These are things you need to, eat 75% of that every day. And you would see, if you go for your primary care doctor appointment next year, you'll see how things will really, really change. And you can reach out to me if you need me I take fecal sample, if you want to see what's going on in your gut, reach out to me, get fecal sample. I'll send you a tube that I'll get your fecal sample. I'll do a courtesy test in my lab and I'll show you the result. I'll translate what the result looks like and what you can do to better your life, your living. All right. Let's go to slide 9 real quick. Slide 9. All right. So now I want to quickly walk you through scientists or intended scientists that want to look into the aspect of microbiomes or metabolomics. Um, in this area, you agree that one, you have to be a scientist, right? You have to have good knowledge of biology, chemistry, and the rest of it. But it's microbiomes, it's an area of science that it's not widely spoken about right now, but it is something that is moving so great, even in the research of cancer, in the research of skin pigmentation, in the research of um, eye defects. A lot of people have eye condition, degenerating eye conditions that microbiomes, metabolomics, understanding your body, how your body reacts to things would really help you. So different career pathway for this. Wonderful career pathway. It is very great when you look into the area of researching. Researching gives you that prestige. I researched for 2 years and that made me FDA approved chemist. Just 2 years because of the nano drop. Now I'm FDA approved chemist. All right. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I have so much. This is an area that is so broad, but you gave me just 15 minutes, so I can't really expand it. I'm so sorry if I've taken some of your time. I like to talk. Sarah knows that so much. But I'll just wrap it up on here. If you have any other question, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olushola. That's a wealth of knowledge, and we sincerely appreciate this interesting topic. I'm not gonna lie, I am really, really, like passionate about this area that you're speaking about. So even though today is the beginning, it may definitely not be the last time we're meeting as a group. So we have greater things in store, and you're gonna get a lot more than just 15 minutes in the near future. Yeah. So thank you very much. we're gonna turn over to a quick panel discussion, guys, even though I know that we're over time. But I'm gonna ask for Odunayo and Paul help with, posing these questions to the different presenters so that, we can just have a quick session so we can answer these questions that was posed to us. So some questions were already answered in the chat, but Paul Odunayo, let me know where you want to start from and who you want to pose the questions to. You can unmute and go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So, right now, I think I have a couple of questions that has already been answered. However, if we have folks that their questions have not been answered, I'm more than willing to take them. But one of the questions I have here is someone asks, and this is probably to any of the panelists. They said, "How expensive is it to study this biomedical engineering field?" Um, let me answer this. So I would say it depends on the university or if there's scholarship and all that. But I think studying in the US, talking from that angle, is not cheap. And is also depending on each universities, and you can find this cost on the website of each schools. But I would say look for scholarship if you can, and you don't have to worry about the expense. Yep. Then another question from Bemi, he said, do the hydrogels target the biofilms associated with chronic wound healing process, or they are specifically designed to hydrate the wound and mitigate the platelet aggregation clot formation? I think I will let Sarah probably answer this particular question. So yeah.
Sorry, not able to see my chats. Can you just repeat the question again?
Yes. So the question is, do the hydrogels target the biofilms associated with chronic wounds healing process, or they are specifically designed to hydrate the wound and mitigate the platelet aggregation or clot formation?
Oh, yeah. So thank you for that. It's good that you asked that because hydrogels can be created in different ways. You can have a hydrogel formation in something as small as your pimple patch, yeah. But to target the biofilms, yes, they do. They are created to do that because the essence is that biofilms clot. So the hydrogels break these things down, the formulation, like the structure I showed you with the gelatin, the alginate. So they break this down, but they're not specifically designed to hydrate. They're not specifically designed to only hydrate the wound, They're specifically designed also to and another addition, these hydrogels are what you make them to be. So if you want to target biofilms, you know how I mentioned that from the liposomes, we added nitric oxide, which is what helps the platelets, what helps to treat the blood clotting. So these hydrogels are just a carrier. What you put in them is what matters. Yeah, they just help you to it's just more precise targeting. Yeah, because over time you've seen that some medications don't really get to the targets that is intended due to different things, due to maybe the length of shelf life. Every drug has a shelf life. So due to so many other things, there are a lot of intricacies involved. But yeah, again, to answer your question, depending on what you put in the hydrogels to target the biofilms, yeah, they do not just hydrate the wound. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you, Sarah, for that answer. I hope Bemi, that answers your question. Another question from Gideon Majin. It says, what are the ethical standards? I believe I've answered this question, but I'm not sure if maybe that's okay. but it says, what are the ethical standard guiding biomedical engineer in discharging their services? I think this is based on different companies. Each company has different SOPs, that standard of
I think
procedures.
it's right time they
And
need to
at the
open
same
Sarah.
time, the major thing as a
They need
biomedical
to
engineer, what you look forward to is to build a technology that is safe and that you will necessarily um, ensure that you have a good patient outcome. I mean, the result of what your device or whatever technology you're building should have. And number two is what measures are in place. Of course, I mentioned that FDA tracks all, they are the regulatory body monitoring every medical device shipped in America. And at the same time, we have the EU MDR. I think they take care of every regulation in Europe and UK and all that. I think China has their own regulatory body. So there's a regulatory body that regulates every devices that goes out their labs, whatever thing that you want to deploy that will come in contact with human. Even the ones that are partially in contact with human, they are highly regulated. It takes years for these approvals to come in, by the way. So yeah, I would say it's not just anyhow that you build in the lab and you ship. No, it needs to be approved. Then another question, I think David already answered this, but I think it's a good question. And by the way, let me say, I have amazing and intelligent people on this call. Everyone is asking really amazing question but I expected it anyway. Um, that. I believe right now, I think those are the questions. I believe every question has been answered. If I've not answered any of your question, please, you can reach out to us. I think there will be dropping an email that you can reach out to, and we can follow up with you. And Romario can please take over. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh no, Paul, I have a question.
Yes,
So
go ahead, please.
well, I have like three questions. So
All right.
tell me, could you walk us through the process, in terms of how it was for you to like get academic admission at Yale University. Like tell us, share that story with us. Number two question is for Sarah. Sarah, what was the motivation behind starting this initiative? And my third question would go to Mr. Olushola. Mr. Olushola, in terms of the fecal analysis, could you please drop your email in the chat, so if anyone is interested in doing this courtesy call, they can reach out to you so they can plan accordingly. And anyone else, Temi, Olushola, David, please drop your email in the chat. If someone should want, to reach out, Paul or Denio, please drop your emails in the chat. That's all. So those are my questions. So I'll just mute and you can continue, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I will allow Timmy to answer that question. Timmy, what's your motivation?
Okay, so I'll start by saying that like the college application process isn't linear for everyone. Even like in the US and also for like international students, the college application process isn't linear. It's, it's what you put into it that you get out of it. I will say that like admissions rates have become lower in the like in re more recent years. My year was probably one of the most competitive years when it comes to college admissions, but in terms of setting yourself up to, I'll just say in terms of setting yourself up to go to a top school or a competitive school, I think everything starts with your grades, your academics. I think academics is what gets your foot in the door. It's not the most important thing, but it is very important. So that's like grades, standardized testing scores, and then also your personal statement and supplemental essays. So the supplemental essays are what are the individual essays that the school asks for depending on whatever school that you're applying to. And then the personal statement is just your general story. I personally think that the supplemental essays carry more weight than the personal statement. Both are very important, but I think it's important to for number one, understand what the mission of the school is, and number two, see if your values align with it. If we take Yale, for example, like Yale is a liberal arts school, so as much as they focus on things related to like STEM and things like that. They're also very focused on the humanities and things like that. So when I was thinking about applying to school, I knew obviously I'm a pre-medical student, but I really wanted to have a broader education. I didn't want to go to a school where I was only thinking about STEM courses all the time. I wanted to be immersed in a lot of different things, and I think Yale was the perfect place for that. So you just have to think about what the school's mission is and if that aligns with your goals. I think a lot of the top schools have it can seem like they have very similar missions, so it doesn't hurt to apply to multiple and like see where your the best fit for you is. But I would definitely say that's how I would go about the process.
Yeah, thank you so much, Demi. And by the way, just to give you guys some amazing stuff about her, she actually got into about 4 different Ivy Leagues. That was amazing. So take it from her. I think everyone else have dropped their emails. I think lastly, just to wrap it up, we're gonna give the room for Sarah to, talk about the initiative. Thank you.
So this is not something that was just birthed um immediately. I remember the first time I went to apply for undergrad what I would study, and like most people, I was blank. I was blank. I was like, I don't know what what to do. But I knew I was good at math. I was good at science. I liked physics. And the man there was like, "Oh, have you heard of biomedical engineering?" And he explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's an emerging field." And I remember my mom being there, and he was like, "Oh, all you have to do is just, pass your exams, pass the math section, and you're fine." And of course, I did. And that's where the journey of biomedical engineering began. Khen and Emet's medical innovation sprung up from just a discussion with, some of the people here. And to imagine how just an idea stems from discussions with friends, it's really important to, know the friends that you keep around you that can bring things to life. And I'm really appreciative for a number of them, which, we'll mention in the end because it's been a beautiful journey even up to here. I can go on and on and on, but one passion I've always had is to, change, make the world a better place or be a part of change in any way that I can. And I believe each and every one of my friends also have that desire to just help people. And that's where it stems from, especially undeserved communities, people who are not able to access these things. Yeah, there is just so much more knowledge that we've been given, and yeah, thank God.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate that. I think I will hand over to Romario as to wrap things up. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Paul. And I just want to say, like today was like truly inspiring. And I am, really, really inspired by all these, beautiful young Africans, who are frontiering, science and bringing discovery and innovation to a whole different level. And not just that, they're also bringing the younger ones, the younger generation with them. So that was the entire reason for this setup today. And I just want to extend a sincere appreciation to every single persons who took the time out to join and be here with us today. It is truly inspiring to see what great minds can conjure up. It's just amazing to see how just an idea, as Sarah said, has birthed this meeting today, and it will birth greater things to come. So, guys, thank you. And we just want to say, drop something in the chat, just drop something, tell us how you feel. Tell us how you feel about the presentation today as we end. Like, yeah, say something. Don't be shy. Share your thoughts as well, guys. And I promise you that today won't be the last day that we're doing this, guys. It's just the beginning, and we will do greater things to come as time progresses. So thank you all, and have a wonderful day, and stay inspired to be a part of biomedical engineering. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank